Welcome back to Atlanta United in Europe. And it's the start of Season 3, and we are in the Premier League. That's right, we won the championship in Year 2. We anticipated doing that Year 1. We were on a bit of a delayed schedule thanks to my negligence in the transfer market in the first year. But we are finally here. We're about to get going in this new season in the Premier League for the first time. As you can see on this screen, you can see that our payroll is still right near at the bottom of the table. These two teams, I think we came up with West Brom and Leeds in this, or no, actually Watford came up with us too. But anyway, we're obviously right down near the bottom, and we made a lot of changes during the offseason. So we are going to go through the transfer moves that were made, and you guys might hate me for some of the things that happened, but you know, stuff happens, and sometimes you get an offer you can't refuse. But we'll get to that in a second. First, let's go to just kind of recap what happened last year. This was our schedule. As you can see, it was pretty consistent form all pretty much all the way through the season. It was never too many times during the season where we thought we weren't going to at least get promoted, if not win the championship. I think we were leading it for almost the entire time. I'm not going to go into too much detail about last season because this is all about setting up the transfer window, showing you guys the squad, and getting into this first game this season. But just know that it was a good year. It was a good building year. A lot of our new signings did very well. Everybody seemed to gel very well, and I think it gave us a good platform for this season. But now let's get into the signings. But first, before we get into the signings, we need to talk about the departures because there were some departures. Right, Pity Martinez now playing for Inter Milan. No beating around the bush. We had to get to this one first. And there's a bit of a story about this one because it's not necessarily a transfer I wanted to make, but, you know, I'm really sad to see Pity go. He was incredible for us last year. He's been really good for us. He's been one of our best players throughout this save. In fact, he won the championship man of the player of the season last year. Just incredible. He had, if we go to his stats, he had 16 goals, 15 assists, 9 men of the match. That's one in every 4 games that he played. Just an incredible player. Just a really good player in this game. There's just no other way to say it. So, why did we sell him? Well, it's a bit of a story. Inter Milan just came in with a random offer for £60 million. And keep in mind, before they made the offer, we had actually checked I'm not going to go into it now because I don't want to spoil anything, but basically we were behind on financial fair play, which isn't necessarily something we have to be keeping up with at this point, because it really only affects international competitions or, the continental competitions. But I just didn't like the feeling of being like we were 30-something million below it. We really needed to raise some money. And to be perfectly honest, we just spent all, basically this entire save. We've had so much money to work with. All we've had to do is buy. We have not had to worry about selling. At some point, you got to bring the budget down. You got to kind of bring in a big transfer kitty from a player and use those funds to redistribute throughout the squad to help the whole squad grow. And so that's what we did this offseason, but it came at the cost of Pity Martinez. First of all, so I think I misspoke, actually. Inter Milan came in for him for, actually, it was just like a meager 15 million or something. I don't know, whatever his transfer value was labeled at the time. And I countered with 60 million. Just because, who knows? If they accept it, then whatever, that's going to happen. We landed, they countered back with something very low again, and then I went to 45. And I said, okay, 45, if they probably won't take this either since their counter to the 60 was way back. It was, 20 or something. It was not really something I would want to sell them for. So I countered for the 45 and they just took it. So it was kind of out of my hands at that point. I was a bit torn on even just selling him, just because it's hard to see people go. I knew that we were going to have to sell somebody at some point. And I especially want to keep as many of the Atlanta United players in real life as I can. But unfortunately, this is just one that happened. And I say unfortunately, good for him. He's at Inter, and he's going to enjoy his time. He'll be playing in the Champions League, I assume. Look, he's on a great salary now. All I can say is best of luck to Pity, and thank you for your service. All right, next we've got Kelvin Amun. He was actually a new signing that we made just last year, and he was great for us. We played him all the time. He had 31 starts at fullback, which is very impressive considering it's a position that requires a lot of physical stamina. And as you can see, he put in great shifts. He was just a very, very consistent fullback for us. And so why did we sell him? Well, look at, you make a $6 million, you make almost 100% profit in 1 year. It's hard to turn that down, especially for a guy like him. Oops, wrong button. Especially for a guy like Amun, who's, his attributes are good. They're very consistent across the board, but really there's nothing about him that really jumps out as spectacular, especially when you look at some of his more attacking attributes. His crossing is only an 11, his passing is an 11. So if we really want to progress, we need to build the team in a way that has more technical ability and ability to play on the ball. And I just felt like Kelvin Amun, for considering the quick profit we could get on him after a year. Again, I want to try to be raising as much revenues as we can. I just felt like this was a move we couldn't really turn down. If we didn't sell him, we were going to have to probably give him a new contract at some point. If we didn't give him a new contract, we would have to be playing him in the Premier League, and I just don't know how his stats would have held up there. So we just decided to part ways. Gave us a good year. Thank you, Kelvin. Right, this one may even be more surprising. This is Jeremy Helin. I don't know. I've never been able to pronounce his name correctly. Very similar story to Amun. Consistent stats, decent attributes, but not spectacular. And when you kind of parlay this out into the Premier League, you just don't know how this is going to play. Or I was at least skeptical about it. He probably would have been decent. I would have been pretty much fine keeping him, to be perfectly honest. But again, when you get offers in, you have to evaluate whether you can better allocate the funds that you're getting than if you were to just keep the player. And so if we look at this one, we signed him for £6.75 million, I think in the middle of our first season, in the January window, and now we're selling him for 12, just a season and a half later. So I just feel like that's a really, tidy profit, as they like to say, and I just felt like we could take that 12 million and put it to better use. So we decided to part ways with one of our real rocks at the back. Look at that, 46. That must be every game he played in the championship last year. 46 appearances and a great average rating. So tough to see him go, but thank you for your service again, Jeremy Helin. Need to mention this one quick. Adrian Vianney. He was a signing that we made, I think, in the January window of our first season. Oh no, it was actually, so we actually did the deal in 2019-2020. He didn't arrive to us until the 2021 season. He just didn't really feature a lot. His attributes are just not quite good enough for what we had that could play that central attacking midfield role that he likes. He just basically wasn't getting in the team a ton. And I said at the beginning when we signed him, this was a very low-risk signing for the price that we got him at £2.7 million. I figured even if he didn't play a lot, his value would kind of naturally go up because he's still pretty young and he's an attacking midfielder. And so, whatever. We made $500K on him. It was no sweat off my back. All right, now we're going to get into some that may hurt a little bit. Emerson Hyman has moved to Empoli in Serie A. Again, kind of similar story with Giovanni. He just, he's got good stats, to be perfectly honest, and they fit very well with the deep-lying playmaker role. Just felt like when you project this at the Premier League level, this is just not the level. You just got to be a little bit better than this. And considering his age, he's already 25. He's not going to get much better, probably, especially when he's on a team like mine where he's not going to be playing all the time. It just wasn't a great fit, and we had to just get some money for him before his contract ran out. So we got $2.1 million for him. Again, decent little profit, decent little fundraising that we can use to buy other midfielders. Darlington Nagbe also, so we're losing some Atlanta United IRLs, as I like to call them. Darlington didn't really ever feature a ton for us. He's a weird player in this game. He did play a lot in the 2019-20 year, but just not a lot last year. 17 appearances, and I bet, I don't know if we can see, but okay, yeah, we can. Only 2 starts in the league. He just wasn't a big figure for us. He's a weird player in this game because he's really, his best position in Football Manager is as an inside forward on the left-hand side, cutting in onto his right foot. And even then, he's got some pretty big weaknesses. The crossing isn't there. The long shots aren't quite there. He's not a goal scorer. We all know that. So he just didn't really fit very well in the squad. As a central midfielder, he's very hard to squeeze into the way that we wanted to play tactically. And I think that that's partially because he's just not coded in the game the way that I would kind of think his attributes stack up in real life. So it's kind of unfortunate that we weren't able to make more of him. But again, I guess he's not an Atlanta United IRL because he doesn't even play for Atlanta United anymore. Wish we could have just integrated him a little bit more while we had him. But tough to see him go. But where did he go? He went to Korea. Is this Korea? Hyundai? Anyway, he went for about £5 million, so we actually got some decent money for him. And tough to see him go, but Darlington Nagbe, thank you for everything. And the last one I'm going to include, even though it's not that big a deal, Anton Walks. We sent him out on loan to Rotherham. We also gave them, there's a clause in that loan where if he makes 20 appearances, they will pay us £1 million for the transfer. So, again, just not, thank you. It's kind of funny that he's actually now joined the team in real life, which I obviously had no idea was going to happen when we signed him in this Football Manager save. But yeah, just not a guy we can really keep up with. And so I wanted to mention this one because we also have another couple players going out on loan. These two are more for long-term development. Eric Bamba, he's an Ivorian that we signed he's a regen player, so not a guy who exists in real life, but is a very, very talented looking ball-winning midfielder and deep-lying playmaker. So he looks good. He's missing some attributes where I want to just have him develop out and flesh out a little more, but I think he's definitely going to be a big player for us next year. And then Josh Hunt is another one of our youth strikers. We signed him. We kind of scavenged in MLS and pried away some of the top prospects from the teams around the league there. I forget what team I think he came from Orlando, actually, we got him from. He's a kind of a complete forward type of player. Hopefully he can develop a little bit more too, and I think that he also will contribute to us. He'll probably assume a backup striker role for us next season. All right, so now that we've got those guys out of the way, now it's the time for the fun part. Let's get excited and look at the transfers that we are bringing in. All right, here's one of the big ones, and we had some people on the stream when we actually made this signing. We were just kind of looking around different national teams who had young players that were getting caps for them, and we found this guy, John Lukumi. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that pronunciation, probably am, but very, very good-looking young center back. Can also play left back if we need, which is perfect for us because we don't really have a natural backup for George Bello, and I don't want to sign a guy just to be a backup for Bello because I definitely don't want to sign someone to start in front of him. So this is kind of the perfect signing. He can play left back if we need him, but he's also just an amazing-looking young center back. And the difference between the stats, Lukumi's stats, if you look at his physical attributes, look at all the green in there, which I've got set up for it to be rated 15 and above. Just very, very good, and that's definitely what you want in a league like the Premier League. You really want those physical attributes, and also when you compare him to someone like Helene, who we've been using for the last couple of years, he's younger and he just definitely has more room to grow. If you look at his potential ability, that 4.5 stars, that is huge. That is really good. And even though he's already almost there, I think that he can really grow in some of these key areas, and we're going to see the heading get a little bit better, the marking get a little bit better, the passing I think those are the attributes that he's going to hopefully grow in, and if he does, he's going to be very, very good, and we will be able to sell him for a lot more money. We bought him for £20.5 million, which is a pretty penny to pay for a center back, but I think that he's going to be an absolute rock for us, play every single game just about if he's fit enough, and he's going to be a very important part of the team. Next up, we've got João Carvalho, Portuguese central attacking midfielder. I don't know how big of a role he's going to play. He's got very good attributes for that advanced playmaker sitting right in the middle of the field. It's a position I really wanted to shore up this year and just make sure we got someone who was very, very natural in that spot, because what I realized last year was we had a lot of players that were very good as inside forwards, cutting in off the wings, or even as wingers. When you look at Tito Villalba, Ezequiel Barco, Pity Martinez, we had a guy, Yuri Medeiros, guys like that, but none of them were actually perfectly happy as an advanced playmaker right in the middle of the park. That was always just stretching them a little bit out of their natural comfort. So I just wanted to make sure we got somebody in who was very much a natural in this position, and I think Carvalho fits the bill. He's decent player, pretty good stats in some areas, but you can see all his best stats are in the key areas that we want. First, the green. Look at these little green bars. That means they're the most primary attributes for the role of an advanced playmaker. First touch, passing, technique, all of his best attributes, or just about all of them, are those green bars. So I think he'll fit the squad really nicely, and hopefully he can earn a lot of playing time for us. Okay, so we sold Amian. We need to bring in a right back to replace him. We got Kyle Walker-Peters. I'm very, very happy with this signing, considering he was actually making plenty of appearances for Tottenham in this save in the Premier League. So you look at that, 18 appearances, 27 appearances, and as a fullback, those are starts. Those are mostly starts. Those are not many sub appearances there. So to get him for 6.25 million, I think is a steal. I think he was transfer listed when we got him. His value was much more than that. As you can see, his value is already 11 million. That's his natural value. So I definitely think he's a guy, even if we want to move on from him after this season, I think, again, we'll make a decent profit just like we did on Amian. I mean, if you think, we sold Amian for, was it, 12 or 13 million pounds, and we're getting a player in who is maybe better. I like his attributes more than Amian's, even though he may be a little, less of a jack of all trades or less kind of consistent across the board in terms of his attributes. I think he's just a little bit more of a progressive player, much, better crosser of the ball. I think he can get it forward for us a little bit better than Amian could, and he's got, really good work rate and teamwork, which is really important for a fullback. So I'm really excited. I think Walker-Peters will be a mainstay for us at right back, which I'm excited about. All right, 3 down, 3 to go, and the fourth here, the signing that we've made is Jaden Braafheid. Dutch player, came from Man City, and looks very, very good. Very similar, actually, to a guy like Tito Villalba, who I am a bit worried about losing, even though the transfer window is expired. For us, we can't sign anybody. We can still sell some players to teams and leagues with transfer windows still open, and if we get a good offer for Tito, he kind of sputtered down the stretch last season. Probably the second half of the season was pretty poor-ish, I guess you could say. It's hard to say because his first half of the season was so good last year, Tito. But I think that Jaden is look at his speed is great for a league like the Premier League. I think we can bring him off the bench and he'll be really effective because of that. He can run at those tired defenders or just give us some legs if we need it. And the thing I like most about this signing was we got him for so cheap. I mean, you look at his value is 3.4 million. You could tell. Looking at these stats, his value is more than 3.4 million. And look what we got him for, 170K, because he just wasn't getting time at City. He was upset. He was fed up and ready to try somewhere else. So I really like Jaden. I think he's more a guy for the future, and hopefully he can develop. Hopefully he can round out some of these things. The first touch really needs improvement for no matter what position he's going to play, but I think that he can potentially be a very good player for us. We signed him to a big contract because there were multiple teams in for him, multiple Premier League teams in for him for that 100 change K price tag, and so I just felt like we needed to bump up his salary quite a bit. I think the original salary that we had offered him was about $25,000 or something like that, and with other teams coming in for him, I just really wanted to make sure we could get him. It would have hurt to not get him in on such a cheap transfer, almost a free transfer essentially. So gave him quite a big salary bump, and fortunately it was enough to recruit him onto the squad. All right, 2 more players left, and we got another American in the squad. If anybody, again, had been watching us on the stream, we'd kind of been sniffing around Keaton Parks a little bit. He's still at Benfica in the game, and we got him in on loan. He was a very, very pricey. He would have been about $20 million or 20 million pounds to buy, so we just got him in on loan, and it was actually a really cheap loan, which works out perfectly for us. And what I really like about Keaton is that he's a central midfielder, definitely like a deep-lying playmaker type, but he's also got, if you look at the aerial, normally I'm not that concerned about a player's aerial ability, but I just felt like a lot of our midfielders right now are small guys. When you look at Jonathan Gonzalez, Vlad Dragomir, plus any kind of playmaker, advanced playmaker we might play with them in a 3-man midfield, it's just small. So I really just kind of like the physicality that someone like Keaton Parks brings, even though we won't play him as like a defensive or ball-winning midfielder. I just like that he brings that aspect to the team, to the midfield especially. And you look at his attributes, and they're quite good across the board. So I think he will probably play a lot of games for us. All right, and the last one is one of our biggest signings. We spent £18.5 million on this guy, so just under what we spent on Lukumi. And I've never heard of this guy before. I had not heard of him until we kind of got him. He came through our scouting reports. Mykola Shavar Renko, 22-year-old Ukrainian, making international appearances, and you look at his stats, he looks really, really promising. Again, look at the 4.5-star potential ability. That's very good. And I'll tell you the reason why I really wanted to get Shavar Renko in the squad is because, like I said earlier when we were talking about Carvalho, where he can really play that advanced playmaker role, Shavar Renko gives us another player who's very much a natural fit right there, but also he's also natural and just about fully natural as an advanced playmaker in a central midfield role, not a central attacking midfield role. So this way we can play him with guys. We can play him in a 3-man midfield with, say, a Dragomir and a Jonathan Gonzalez, or Jonathan Gonzalez and Keaton Parks, or something like that. We can play around with some different combinations with him. I just like that versatility and obviously his potential and talent. He's extremely good, high determination, so I think he will continue to push on in fulfilling his potential ability. So I'm excited to see how this goes, and hopefully we didn't get a lemon young unknown player from Ukraine. All right, so we're going to play our first game of the season here. This is the formation and team we are going to put out there for the first game in the Premier League. Got to get as many Atlanta United players as we can in there. So Joseph is going to start up top for us. Villalba is going to start on the wing. And look at this, Barco's starting on the left side. So we have a true Atlanta United front three in the Premier League. And we also have George Bello in the squad at left back. Oh, you know what? I didn't look at our center backs. We probably should not play Escobar as a center back. I'm also going to change and not play a ball-playing defender this year. I'm going to try this out. Hopefully it goes well. We'll play Escobar, and you know what? Let's keep Escobar in there. We'll see how he does as a center back. Who knows? This game is against Watford. They just came up with us from the championship last year, so kind of a little bit of a bummer that it's not, some established Premier League team that we're going up against, but this is the team we're going to use. Again, I think I like Villalba out here as a winger and Shavar Renko as an advanced playmaker here centrally on attack. So he's going to push up into these areas, and Villalba as a winger will stay wide, and he'll give him space to operate, hopefully, in those areas behind Joseph. All right, and we have kicked off in the Premier League for the first time. This is fun. This is exciting. I'm excited. Looks like Lukumi already took us some sort of knock there early. All right, we got a highlight. 10 minutes in. Oh, no. That's not good. All right, so we're 1-0 down, 11 minutes into our Premier League debut, but that's okay. Hopefully, I have faith. I have faith in our attack to get some goals. I didn't mention we are actually hopefully do pretty well financially this season. We were projected to have the 9th highest revenues in the Premier League from our stadium, from our home matches. So that's pretty good, I think, for a team coming up from the championship. Obviously, we're in a really good situation with Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Nobody in the championship in real life has a stadium like that. So obviously that's kind of the fun part of this, is we have that kind of benefit. But I think that will actually even grow. Hopefully we can get higher on that list as we go on. I think we will. I think it's just the fact that we're coming up from the championship this year. The more and more we stay in the Premier League, the more season ticket holders we'll get. And, oh no. VAR. Whenever they go to VAR, it's basically always going to give the decision. And 2-0. This is not good. This is not good for the video. You guys didn't want to see a loss here. Can we change it? Is there any way for us to change the dynamic here? I got to give him the hairdryer treatment at halftime here. We did not have Carvalho. He was injured coming into the game, so we can't move him up into that central attacking midfield role off the bench. First of all, we really need to get mad. I'm going to keep it now. I'm not going to make any changes yet for the second half. Barco, Villalba. See how we move it around here. Adams. Shavar Renko, he could be... Ooh, Barco, what a goal. What a goal. Hopefully he gets off to as hot of a start this season as he did last year. He got off to a scorching start to start off the championship season last year. And then he kind of faded a little bit. I think he took an injury, and then he never quite got back to where he was after that. But what a strike that is. Beautiful. All right, another highlight here. Barco with the free kick, or the corner kick. They clear. Can we make something out of it? Escobar. Walker Peters. Maybe we should not have started Escobar as a center back in this game. Maybe that's why we've given up 2 goals. But he can make up for it if we can build an attack here. Just lost it there. Okay, we're back in the picture. Bello. Ooh, Tyler Adams shoots just wide. That was nice passage of play there. I like to see that. Joseph, what move do I make? Joseph is not giving me a bunch of confidence here. I've got a really good striker on the bench, and I don't want to take off. The only way I can really keep Joseph Martinez on the field is to move him to that inside forward role, but Barco's had a good game, so I am going to put on Leao, and then I'm also going to put on... Do I put on Braff? He's not a natural winger on that side, even though he is right-footed. He's really a natural inside forward. I think I'm going to move Barco over to this side because Barco is just as good at the wing position as he is on an inside forward, although his attributes are better as an inside forward. But let's try this. Hopefully we just get that new signing luck here. Oh, we got a quick highlight. That's good. Shavar Renko, Walker Peters. Someone get him. Oh, there it is. There's the new signing luck. There it is. Welcome. That's a way to make your first career Premier League appearance. Beautiful. No, I shouldn't have. I should have let you guys see it. We should have all seen that goal, but it was good enough to see a dot hit it. Okay, we got another one. Another highlight here. I've had a lot of build up here on this right side. Probably down to Walker Peters. Ooh, Barco. Oh, there we go. Was he onside? Yes, he was. The Linos running back. Maybe not the prettiest goal there, but it was well worked. It was just kind of the goal was kind of fortunate. Just fell to lay out there, but Barco. Ooh, look at that shot. The crowd is going absolutely wild. The traveling support at Watford. Oh no, this is Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We're just in our away kits here. All right, 10 minutes left. Let's make a move. How can we kind of solidify here? Keaton Parks, maybe. Let's put Keaton on for Shavar Renko and make him a deep lying playmaker. That gives us. We'll put him on support. That should give us a lot of solidity right there. He gives us a little bit of physical presence. Uh-oh. I don't know why I guess I'm worried because they had the free kick there, but I'll be worried every highlight until this game is over now, or if we can extend our lead. Keaton, can he do something with it? Is he going to do something with it? More new signing luck? Nope, Barco got it taken off them. Now they're countering, and now we got Franco trying to defend. Okay, nice. He did defend. That was really well done by Escobar there. I'm telling you, his attributes are, I think they're better as a center back in this game than as a right back, but he can do both for us. He'll kind of be a backup center back and a backup right back, and hopefully by backing up 2 positions he'll actually get a decent amount of playing time. All right, we got a break here. Barco, can you do something good with it? He's a bit tired. Maybe we should have subbed him. He was not fully fit coming into this game. In fact, we definitely should have subbed. Can we make it? Can we make it? Can we make it? All right. No highlights of those last 10 minutes or so. And we get 3 points in the first game, a comeback. We were down 2-0 at halftime, right? Yeah. The 46th minute, 71st minute, 75th minute goals from us. Great win. Great way to start the Premier League. Good job, everybody. Trustful. Give them a really good ovation there in the locker room. And that is exactly how we want to start it. We will be continuing this save at some point on the stream. So if you're not following us on Twitch, follow Dirty South Soccer on Twitch at twitch.tv/DirtySouthSoccer. Give this video a like if you like the stuff, because that helps, I guess. And I'll continue to kind of post updates here on the save in the YouTube channel. So if you're not following us on YouTube, obviously do that so you can get the updates here. And until the next time, we will see you guys later.